What's up, everyone? George Balekji here with Foxborough Rush. But hey, check out the latest episode of Boston Has Entered the Chat. Travis Thomas and myself, we run through a Knicks-Celtics preview. Celtics in 5 at worst is what we're saying. But find out why. Jalen Brunson, good, but ain't a thing. Wherever you get your podcast. That's Boston Has Entered the Chat, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever else you get them. Also, wherever you watch, including Nesson's YouTube page. And if you're on there, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment. Now, let's get to Foxborough Rush. What's up? What's happening? George Balekji here with Travis Thomas. T, how we doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man. You know, I feel like now we're past the point of talking offensive linemen every day.
You think?
We could just talk football. It's beautiful.
Sure about that?
I hope.
You sure about that?
I hope.
You sure about that?
I hope so.
We're talking some offensive linemen today, my friend.
Oh.
We'll take a look at the remaining free agents that are out there. That makes sense for the Patriots as fits. We'll talk leadership because Drake May had a great soundbite on that as well.
Yep.
And we'll take an overall look at the Pats as well, where everything's going. And honestly, when we talk leadership, you got to talk pressure too. Who are the Patriots to have the most pressure on them? Some are rookies, some are vets, some are coaches. We'll run through all that and more right here on Foxborough Rush. Let's start with when we're talking leadership.
Okay.
I want to open up with this, the soundbite from Drake May, because I think it was absolutely fantastic when he was asked about being a leader when he spoke to the media on Thursday. I've said it to you, from his rookie season, I listened to his pressers, and he's not a guy that goes up there and just wins the podium. He doesn't dominate. He doesn't say anything great. But when you listen, especially to what he says about the questions he's asked, he says everything you want from your leader and, most importantly, your quarterback. Here's what he had to say about leadership on Thursday.
I mean, not something that, obviously, comes with position, and, I like to hopefully call myself this year a leader, and I think working towards that. I think just earning the guys' respect. A lot of new faces in here. Come in here and work hard, and show those guys that we picked up in free agency, or the rookies, or guys we picked up. Just kind of my work ethic. I've been kind of started from that standpoint. Show the coaches. I think once you get new staff and new players, you want to show them, hey, it's not relaxed time. I think once I'm going to be the starter, just keep things pushing forward, and whether it's saying more than in whether in walkthrough or little things like that, just kind of build that and not focus too much on it. Just hopefully it comes natural.
Talk about leadership coming natural to him,
Yeah.
And it will. I mean, that guy is a leader. But this is a guy that, since he stepped in, has checked all the boxes on what you have to say, what you want to say. And I think what's important with him is that last season he came in, and when camp opened up, Gerard Mayo said, hey, this is Jacoby Brissett's team. He's our QB1.
Right.
And Drake May hid behind the scenes, was a rook, did all the right things. Then at the end of camp, it was, since spring, Jacoby's been the better quarterback. Or, since spring, Drake's been the better quarterback. It's like, oh, okay. But he didn't hear anything from Drake May. And then when week 6 rolled around, they're taking on the Texans. He stepped in and he delivered in everything. Now he's talking about it coming natural. It's definitely going to come natural now because he's a competitor. He's really talented. He's really hardworking. And he's a quarterback. It comes with a position. He's that vocal leader. He leads by example. And it's going to come natural now because since week 6 of last year, he's been QB1.
Sure.
And throughout this entire offseason, I think that's something that is important for any player's growth, where they enter the offseason knowing they're the starter the following season. Coaches give you different attention. You get more put on your plate. You have a different mentality and mindset all offseason long. That's going to benefit Drake May. So it's going to come natural because naturally he took over that position as QB1, and naturally he's going to get all the responsibilities that come with it, and he's going to step up.
It's deeper than that. You use the word naturally, and that's exactly right. I don't believe leaders are made. I think you can improve leadership skills. I think you can learn leadership skills. I think there are certain parts of leadership that are quantifiable. However, I think leadership, like, you're born with that. You're either a born leader or you're not. Drake May is. So I saw it immediately. I know you did too, George. Remember, this kid sat for a little while, and at that time, keep your head down, work hard. When it's your moment, be ready. And he was, okay? But once he came in, we saw it immediately. Everything. It was a little more juice. The offense looked a little better. He was in command. His teammates, from what we could see, George, loved him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's leadership. After games, wins or losses, even keeled. Like you said, he doesn't win the podium. He's not, this isn't Jameis Winston here where he's up there and he's basically like a stand-up comedian, like a Netflix special. You're not going to get a ton of personality out of Drake May, but you're also not going to get the grumpiness either. you just get a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed kid that's happy to be there and he's working hard trying to get better. That's leadership. I mean, this kid is you said the word, he's a natural leader.
Yeah.
You can't fake that. It's authentic. You can grow on it with reps, with years, with experience, with playoff wins and losses, hopefully Super Bowls, hopefully, right? All these things add to it. But you are or you are not. Drake May is a natural leader.
And I think even we have to talk about it too, the comments he made about Joe Milton when asked about that. Here's what he said, quote, I texted Joe. Me and Joe came in together. We learned the offense together. We were competing every day to outthrow each other at practice.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got a big arm, so it was cool for him to get a chance to go and be a backup.
Sure.
And I think you saw in the Bills game his potential. And I think we have a similar play style a little bit. And it was kind of related to our similar college offense to this offense. It was cool to be in the room and have somebody to bounce ideas or, hey, you remember doing this in college and stuff like that. So I'm pulling for Joe. Probably play him again or I'll see him down the road. So thank you, go Pats. That's what he ended it with.
There it is.
That's also too. And I came on here and I said, if anyone thought that Drake May had a play in Joe Milton getting traded was asinine. And that was just absurd of him being afraid of Joe Milton or competition. The way he was raised, how good he is, the confidence he has. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance is shielding insecurity. Confidence comes with you being comfortable with yourself and you know all you got to do is focus on yourself and you're going to be okay. That's what Drake May carries. But when he has that comment about Joe Milton of like, I'm pulling for him. I texted him. All good for him. That shows that Drake May, it wasn't him saying, you got to get Joe Milton out of here, feeling him as a threat. And it also shows the type of teammate he is too, where that's a guy that was inside that building wanting to be a starting quarterback, wanting a fair shot. He even said it's cool he's going to go and have a chance to be a backup because Drake May saw how the roster was right now with Josh Dobbs as their backup. But the same thing as a leader of he's pulling for him. He goes, hey, man, I'll see him down the road. Maybe I'll be playing him because he is special. He's got something special about him. He honestly recognizes it. He doesn't shy away from that convo. And again, it's you listen to it and you're like, that's nothing crazy. Like, oh, it's just, player talk. It's PR. It's lip service.
Sure.
No. He owns it and he's not afraid to talk about it. This is everything that checks the boxes you need for your leader, A, and for your quarterback, especially franchise quarterback.
Big dog, you are preaching, and you don't even know it. I took a note of something you just said. Arrogance is shielded in insecurity. Are you kidding me? What are you, Confucius? Like, this is just, you are giving away game for free, man.
It's the one of you. If you got to walk in every day and be like, I'm the hardest working guy in the room, you're not. If you got to say,
I am here early. I am leaving later than everyone.
If you have to tell everyone what you do every day, and there are the people out there like, I understand it. We've all dealt with it at certain points in our career. It's like, do they recognize everything I'm doing? Mm-hmm. But there's the way of you could pull someone aside or, you know how to do it. Bring it up in combo. Hey, I did this. But if you got to walk in, what are those Under Armour shirts? Hardest worker in the room.
Yeah.
You know what Drake May wears? He goes, no one cares. Keep going.
That's right.
And that's how he carries himself. And I think that's what's important about him.
Yeah, I think some of that is natural leadership, like we're talking about, right? Like, if you're a natural leader, if you really think about this, George, especially as it pertains to the quarterback position, you're really doing a lot of serving in a way. You got to make sure everyone around you is taken care of and happy and on the same page with the offense and the plays and the strategy and what we're doing. You got to keep everyone upbeat. All right, guys, come on. There's got to be some rah-rah in there. You got to learn how to talk to certain teammates. Some guys need that kick in the arse for motivation. Some guys are self-starters and self-motivators. As a leader, you got to know that. As a quarterback, you got to know that. So I just think Drake, it's not really a position when you're a natural leader. It's not a position of praise. It's not. You're not going to get an attaboy all the time. You're not going to get a pat on the back or the butt all the time. And I think Drake's comfortable with that. And that shows natural leadership. I think to your point, when you're the guy who walks in and says, hey, everyone, look at me. I'm the leader. That's insecure. Hey, I know I'm taking shots here, and who gives a rat's patootie, but that's Aaron Rodgers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
And he's not. Teammates do love Aaron Rodgers, but he's not a natural leader.
Yeah.
Because it's, hey, look at me, everyone. Drake May doesn't have that, and that's great. Drake May is more cut, not saying he's going to be, but he's more cut from the Brady tree.
Yeah.
Brady went 20 years without getting praise and didn't give a rat's you-know-what about it, right?
Yeah.
He got it because of the results, but he wasn't seeking it. And that's what I see in Drake May.
And by the end, you know what Brady did? He didn't cry to the media. He didn't, complain about it all the time. He goes, all right, Bill, I'm leaving.
I'm out.
And then he won a Super Bowl.
Somewhere else. Who did appreciate him in Tampa, right?
He knew his value.
That's right.
So that brings up this combo. Cool. Drake May's the leader. Awesome. He's going to be a captain. Safe to say?
Yes.
Okay. So look at not a single player that finished last season as a Patriots captain is on the roster. David Andrews cut. Juwan Bentley cut. Joe Cardona cut. Jacoby Brissett left in free agency. Dietrich Wise left in free agency. Jabril Peppers was a captain but didn't finish a season as it.
That's right.
I could see him being a captain. I mean, he plays a million miles per hour.
Not me.
He's a starter on defense. He does have the off-field stuff.
There you go.
All right, let's talk about it. Who do you see being the captains? I think the conversation starts with Drake May.
It starts and ends with Drake May. There'll be other players who probably earn it in camp. I would think a lot of these former Titans are in the running. Guys that are familiar with Vrabel and vice versa. But it is Drake May because even with the rest of the guys who earn it, right?
Yeah.
And especially if they're former Titans and there's a relationship there with the head coach. It's still, even those dudes will recognize this is Drake's team. And I actually think in your question is the answer. You just rattled them off. David Andrews, Juwan Bentley, Wise, Brissett. I mean, all these guys are gone. You wouldn't be so easy to let all these guys walk. You would keep one or two strategically to stay that veteran, to stay that captain, to stay that beacon of this is what we're supposed to do. You would keep one or two of them if Drake wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I think the fact that all these guys are gone and Jabril sort of earned the C being taken off of him, but I think the fact that all these guys are gone lends itself, at least makes me believe that Drake May's ready, and it is his time. And he is the guy. This is now, and look, we can debate whether or not it's premature in year 2. That's a fair debate.
Okay.
But it is clear to me it is now Drake May's time. It is.
It is perfectly on time. Not premature at all.
Well, we'll find out.
It's his time.
I don't think so either. I agree with you, but we'll see.
It's his time.
We'll see. He's got to go do it too, George.
Jaden Daniels, was he a captain of the Commanders?
That I don't.
Sure.
I'm out of the Commanders ecosystem. I'm a Patriot now, baby.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So let me throw some guys by you.
Okay.
And I'll ask
young
you.
guys, you're saying? Like, is this your point? Younger dudes now, or especially quarterbacks, are more in that captain role earlier on?
When you are the QB, you are the face of the franchise.
Yeah, but it also, I don't like that statement, and I'll tell you why. Because then you blanket it. Yeah, but then you blanket it.
Okay.
And you say, okay, all young quarterbacks are given. No, like there's certain guys. I mean, you just said Jaden Daniels. You're checking to see if he's a captain. Jaden Daniels is not a run-of-the-mill, ordinary young quarterback in this league. He is supernatural. That's my point. Like, I don't think it's just because you're a young quarterback, you've been here a year or two, now it's your time. Okay. You got to earn that, Jack.
Yeah.
You got to earn it.
Ready for this one? You could, and I do think there's different avenues to do it. Dan Quinn every Friday would name the captains for the upcoming Commanders game.
Well, it'll be Jaden Daniels now.
When the postseason kicked off, Terry McLaurin, Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, Jeremy Reeves, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
There's two avenues to do it. You want your established captain. Sorry, I'm going to throw established captains by you. And you opened with it and you said it, and I think you're right. One of the captains of this team, no doubt about it, it's going to be Robert Spillane.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it
makes
linebacker,
sense. Makes sense.
Undrafted free agent,
Absolutely.
Vrabel gushing about him. Robert Spillane explaining that everything he does, he stays on the field after. He does drills with his eyes closed, so when he gets in the game, he has a better feel where everything is when he's dropping back into coverage.
Overcome adversity with injuries and getting back on the field. That's a leadership quality.
Mike Vrabel talking about Spillane in one-on-one drills, just kicking everyone's butt he was matched up with. Just, again, gushing about it. All right, so Drake May, your quarterback. Robert Spillane, your linebacker. Harold Landry, too, on the edge.
Yes, of course.
Vrabel guy.
Yep.
Leader in defensive lineman room. a veteran, 29, about to be 30.
Yep.
And a good edge player.
Check, check, check.
And he'll look to his left to Milton Williams and Christian Barmore. He'll look opposite of the defensive line, Keon White, Braden Swinson, lead by example. That C says, look at me, follow me. And eventually you'd want a Williams, Barmore, Swinson, Farmer to wear that C. Cool. Morgan Moses. That's a guy that talks about, been in the league 11 years, waking up 4:35 a.m. to work out, getting on time to treatment, sleeping in cryo chambers. He's a vet. He's not a long-term solution, but he's your most experienced offensive lineman in that room. And everything that guy talks about, he wakes his sons up, make them work out with him. He's like, hey, if you want to have success, this is the work it's going to take. I think he's going to be a captain. Hey, if you're enjoying the show, and enough with the free agent, undrafted free agent talk, I understand. You can catch new episodes of Foxborough Rush every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can catch all the latest news surrounding the Patriots as we work our way through the offseason. Also, go to Nesson's YouTube page, leave us a comment, leave a thumbs up. As you guys know, we always run through the mailbag. We always bring you guys into the show, and we love to ask you guys about what you think. Like one we got right here. We'll do it right after this ad break.
I covered him in Washington. You know I'm not that high on him, but I cannot deny he's a great leader. He was in Washington. We'll see. I'm not a big fan of him, the player, though.
And that's where the captain matters. Next one, Will Campbell. He's going to be a captain because he's going to be that guy that was a leader and a captain and everyone looked to at LSU. He wore the number 7 patch, which LSU always gives to their best player. But he was the first lineman to ever earn the number 7. They would literally wear 7. But because he's an offensive lineman, he wore the patch instead. So that says about him at LSU, who had all of that NFL draft talent there. He wore that patch. He's a Vrabel guy through and through. That's why they picked him at 4. He will be the future leader of that offensive lineman room. And with him and Drake May, those are your captains for the next 10, 12, 15 years. They will always wear that C. Then the last one I see, and it does matter, T, Brendan Schooler. Undrafted free agent to a Pro Bowler, their best special teams player, very talented gunner, and that does matter. Special teams matters. For Mike Vrabel, it's every detail matters to him. He doesn't overlook special teams at all. I could see Schooler wearing that C. I could see them having 6 captains.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with this. The only one I'd maybe do a write-in vote for or an honorable mention or make a case for would be Gonzo, and the fact that talent-wise, he's as good as he is. But there's also there's also different ways to lead. I mean, we've talked about in this segment so many avenues of leadership and sort of off-ramps and on-ramps. And I think Christian Gonzalez is another example of how to lead with quiet confidence.
Yeah.
He does not talk. You cannot get a word out of Christian Gonzalez. But on that field, he is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And what he did last season, to me, outside of just being an overall badass, is he stayed healthy. And so once he showed me that not only are you a proficient, really elite shutdown corner in this league, but now you can also stay healthy for a full season. I think Christian Gonzalez has a real case as well.
Yeah. I would say one more. I would go Kyle Duggar. Really good player.
Yeah.
More of a quiet leader again. More of the soft-spoken guy. Speak to him in the locker room, everything.
Yep.
Plays well. If he can be healthy again, he was dealing with that ankle sprain. He was not himself.
Right.
Watch him on the field, how behind he'd be on plays and everything. He'd be getting beat all the time. But last season was such a difficult situation for every player on that roster because the coaching staff was never cohesive. There was never that shared vision on how they want to play. Schematically, culturally, everything. It's a lot different now. I can see Terrell Williams loving a piece like Kyle Duggar, who's so elite playing down in the box that he'd want to build around him. So I like that you raise it up. One more, I would go maybe Hunter Henry. He has a good rapport with Drake May. He's a tight end. He's been a security blanket. That's a guy that's a vet now. He's about to be 29 years old, I believe. I don't know anyone in the wide receiving room. Maybe a Stephon Diggs. Maybe not.
I don't know. I mean, I don't listen.
Ready?
Vrabel knows more than we do, and you got to get in the building, and you got to get through camp, and you got to establish some things. So if Diggs earns it, Diggs earns it.
Yeah.
But from the outside looking in, just with this conversation we're having, I mean, let me ask you this: we both have watched Stephon Diggs his entire career at multiple places now, right? Minnesota, Buffalo, Houston. I'm going to speak for me and then volley this back to you. At zero point in time have I ever seen Stephon Diggs as a leader. At 0 point in time have I ever seen Stephon Diggs and said that should be my team captain. I have seen on many occasions where I have looked at Stephon Diggs and some of the antics and some of the things going on the sidelines and some of the theatrics on the field when not getting his way, tantrums, sulking, things of this nature, where I've said, well, that's not a leader. That's a diva wide receiver.
Yeah.
Not to say he can't resurrect whatever in New England. They sure paid him like he's a leader here. He's wide receiver one and a leader. But I have yet to see it, is what I would say.
It took him 5 years to wear thin in Minnesota, 4 in Buffalo. He had the 1 year stint in Houston. The one thing I look at him, and whether he wears that captain patch or not, he's going to be that leader in the wide receiving room. He was a 5th round pick out of Maryland. You know that very well.
Covered him.
And he is, when he was at his peak, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And he evolved his game from being an undersized guy that's a deep downfield threat to being an elite wet route runner, stick one foot in the ground and go any direction he wanted to, and just absolutely make fools out of defensive backs, to evolving his game of, don't got the same speed now, don't got the same athleticism,
yeah, but you're talking the game, George.
Be smart against his zone. Right, no. And so hear me out, though. When last year you had a wide receiving room that was just an absolute car wreck.
Yeah.
Javon Baker missing curfew in London. Can't even be active on game days. Had one catch last season.
You're being nice calling it a car wreck.
Right, okay. Yeah.
I would call it an S show.
Jalen Polk, who couldn't, I don't even know, man. Basically every day when he was showing up, you'd think he got dressed in the dark. Like, you're like, what? Just like, what was the decision making here?
Yeah.
And apparently behind the scenes, and with wide receiver coach and Tyler Hughes that had never been put in that position before,
right.
Jalen Polk was a knucklehead. Being very nice with my words there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jalen Polk's a 2nd round pick. Javon Baker is later in the draft 6th. A former 5th round pick turned into an all-pro receiver who has been one of the best receivers at points. He can look at those guys and go, put your ish together.
Mm-hmm.
Get it together. Mm-hmm. I've been that guy. You're a 2nd round pick. I'll outwork you any day. I'll outwork you right now. I'm an old man coming off a torn ACL.
Set the example.
And that's where the leadership needs to come from. The leadership without the captain patch. Kendrick Bourne publicly called out the team when they were in London again. Eating right, doing the right things on the road. We were all like, whoa, what's going on here? They got some of those guys out. Like a Devon Godshaw no longer with the team, but a Kendrick Bourne's still on the roster. So those are the guys I can see without officially being a captain, still be the leaders.
No, that's a great point. Leading by example is what you're talking about, right? And it's, I feel like this whole segment could be a masterclass even outside of football just on leadership, because we're talking about so many ways to do it.
Yeah.
From vocal leader, sort of grabbing the rein, and grabbing the reins and get on my back, follow me, guys, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what Drake May, we think, is stepping into now. We talked about quiet leadership, like Gonzo and others. And now what you're saying is sort of leading by example, which, look, I illustrated things that I've seen from Stephon Diggs in other spots.
Yeah.
Like literally with thine eyes.
Yeah.
But, I have to give some context here because I did cover him in college. Don't know him at all, but I know a lot of people that do. George, everyone loves him.
Yes.
Everyone back home in the DMV loves this kid, says he's a great guy.
I heard the same thing out of Houston.
I've had multiple people tell me that know this dude very deeply, right? And here's the other thing. None of us can ever accuse this dude of not being a hard worker. Yeah. He is. So I'm not suggesting that he can't lead. I'm more saying that I haven't seen it, at least in the way that we're talking about.
Yes.
At any stop in his career.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean it can't happen here. And to be honest with you, I hope it does. I hope it does. New England needs that. The Patriots need that. That wide receiver room, which I referred to as an S show, needs that.
One more I'll throw at you. Here's the thing. I would not be shocked if there are 3 rookies that are captains come week 1.
Okay.
Can you guess who that 3rd rookie would be?
Well,
because I said Will Campbell, Drake
May.
I
was going to say, who are the... Okay. Will Campbell and who?
Drake May, excuse me. Sorry, I'm dumb. 2 rookies.
Oh, 2. Okay, so another rook.
Yeah.
It's not Henderson. You can't have a running back.
You could, but I don't think it'd be him.
It's not Kyle Williams if you want Stephon Diggs.
Maybe, but I don't
think so. If you give me a long snapper or a kicker, we're going to fight on TV. We're going to fight.
I know
Who?
Who
you
messing
thinking?
with you.
Who you thinking?
1,000% serious. Trey Wilson. Excuse me. Jared Wilson.
All right.
The center out of Georgia.
Yeah, I could see that.
Easily challenge challenge Garrett Bradbury for snaps.
They said he's very smart, too, very cerebral,
Dude,
which you have to be at that position.
It's not high IQ, it's elite IQ.
Sure.
Multiple run schemes is what he
I could see
played
that.
in Georgia, is a mother effer on the offensive line.
I could see it.
And he's a tight end in the center's body. If Jared Wilson wins the starting job coming out of camp, that's saying a lot about his character and his work ethic and his talent.
Yes.
And that would show a 4th-round pick becomes a starter over a veteran free agent we signed to a 3-year deal.
Yes.
Captain.
Absolutely. Agreed. Good call. Good call.
Hey, if you guys are enjoying the show, be sure to also check out our daily sports podcast. Boston has entered the chat. It's hosted by myself and my man, Travis Thomas. Pretty soon, we'll be live on Nesson starting at 8 a.m. as well. But for right now, you can get it wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime. Also on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Comment on our YouTube page on the videos. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and you'll join the chat that way. So we talked about draft picks, younger guys that could be on the team.
Yep.
There's still a lot of holes in this roster. Now, let me say this.
Okay.
They drafted 11 players. They signed 18 undrafted free agents.
Okay.
Going into camp, you have 90 guys on your roster.
Right.
31% of the roster, 31% will be rookies they drafted or undrafted free agents. As of right now, maybe some stuff changes. They still got to look at free agency to find some answers to some holes here. I want to start with this, and this is where I was saying, hey, we're not done talking offensive line yet.
Oh, God.
Dalton Reisner, 6-year NFL vet, played left and right guard, mainly left guard when he came into the league, was good with the Broncos, was a player at Kansas State and a leader there. If Will Campbell, Trav, listen to me. Hear me out. If Will Campbell is your guy at left tackle,
right,
and he works there, and there are the questions with his measurables, with his wingspan, everything, what's the best thing to support that rookie? Put a veteran left guard right next to him instead of Layden Robinson in year 2 or Cole Strange who always gets banged up. 1 year deal on Dalton Reisner. Still fairly young. Got plenty of juice left in the tank. I wouldn't hate it.
I mean, listen, bro. Fine. Yes.
Thank you.
Can I also add, nothing against Dalton Reisner, but I mean, I don't know jack shnikes about him other than this. If you took a tubby from Market Basket who can move his feet, I would say, hey, can we teach you pass, bro? Yeah? Come on in. So sure. Come on, Dalton Reisner. I'm sure you're a leader of men. Can you block for me? Thanks. I mean, honestly, kickers, offensive linemen, punters, long snappers. Okay. Can you do your job? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Come on.
1 sack allowed. 21 pressures and almost 400 pass blocks.
Yes.
With the Vikings last season.
Deal.
Same scheme, Josh McDaniels potentially. I think it's going to be so interesting, the offense he runs. But it's West Coast offense, and you need to be a good player. And that was an offensive line shuffling a lot.
Great.
I would take a Dalton Reisner.
Any more offensive linemen? Because I'm going to say yes to all of them.
Okay. Will Hernandez.
Sure.
Guard. You're like, Will who? First time I heard of him.
I'll take him.
He's coming off a torn ACL, but this is a guy that's been in the league for 7 years now.
All right.
And he was fine. He was good. Again, I'm talking pass blocking here. He was fine overall with the Cardinals the last 2 seasons.
Okay.
Coming off that torn ACL, could be ready late in camp. And I think that's one that's realistic as well, where, again, they're evaluating the guys. One of the undrafted free agents they signed was Jack Conley out of Boston College.
Yeah.
6-year player there. Started over 60 games. That is a program record. But if they're looking at their 5 guys up front and they don't love it, this guy very likely could be out there because he's coming off the torn ACL.
Sure.
They go, hey, we need to get a vet in this room. And also with these free agency signings, they have to add depth. They have to
I agree.
add
Well,
depth.
we also saw last season, particularly on the offensive line, just how valuable offensive line depth is, man. I mean, it was like a Rubik's Cube last year in terms of the mixing and matching your offensive line throughout the season.
Yeah.
Both, by the way, from not performing well, but also injuries. So I think depth is very important. I also think, as much as I just despise having these conversations, I also think it is so telling that we're having a conversation about available, viable options for the Patriots in free agency that's left. This is a scrap heap, right? Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 2 guards. it just shows you how damn hard it is to find and develop and retain high-end tackles. It is hell on earth. And when you get them, you better develop them and keep them and cherish them. And generally when you get it right, they are here a decade plus, right? But man, I mean, there's nothing. It's crickets out there when it comes to serviceable, competent tackles. It just doesn't happen, bro. Look, man, it's why we can't go back in time. And props to Kyle Williams and all these other picks. But I told you on draft night, I would have felt great if they had taken 2 tackles. And we're arguing about if Will Campbell even can be a left tackle, by the way.
And they did take Marcus Bryant in the 7th.
Later. But I'm saying early.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had gone back-to-back tackle, I would have been happy because it's just so hard to find. We talk about it being a quarterback league and quarterbacks don't grow on trees.
Got to protect those quarterbacks.
Facts. But the guys who protect them don't grow on trees either.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, that's it. I'm done with the trenches.
Good. I mean, we could talk about the rest, but I've looked at this free agent class. You will not sell me. There's maybe one corner that I can kind of see. The rest of these guys are basura. Trash.
Rasul Douglas?
That's the one guy maybe you could talk me into because he is a veteran. He's big. He's physical.
6'2", 210.
He's reliable. Yeah. Unlike some of the other guys I know you're going to throw my way, I could see him maybe.
He was really good with the Packers. He was still good with the Bills.
He was okay with the Bills.
You bring him in. You sign Carlton Davis. He was really good with the Packers.
Yes.
But how many years ago was that? He's now year 8, year 9 in the league. So
he's reliable in a solid – he's a serviceable – I use that word a lot with some of these guys.
Yeah.
He's a serviceable, competent corner.
Again, with camp, if they don't like what they see from Alex Austin, if they don't like what they see from their cornerback 3-4.
Yes.
I'm not talking nickel because that could be Craig Woodson.
Yes.
I'm talking their actual cornerbacks.
Yes.
Then you go out and get a Rasul Douglas. If not him, maybe a Kendall Fuller. Same thing, smaller profile.
Nah, I covered him in Washington too.
Nickel early in his career, and he was fine there.
Yeah. He gets beat like a drum, George.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
And this is Kendall Fuller now 9 years, 10 years into
That's
the league.
right. And I covered him when he was young, and he was getting beat like a drum.
Julian Blackmon, free safety from the Colts. They signed Marcus Epps. Maybe Craig Woodson's a free safety in their eyes. I really think he's going to end up breaking camp as a slot. But the reason I go with the Julian Blackmon, his age, he's about to be 27. He'll turn 27 next season, this upcoming football season. Younger, a lot younger than Marcus Epps, not coming off a key injury. That could be a player that's good in coverage, can play down in the slot as well. That's making depth happen. His character, I don't know. And that's a thing, too, with all these free agents we can look at, the guys are going to bring in. Character matters right now to Mike Vrabel. Will Campbell, Travion Henderson, Jared Wilson, we spoke about him. Kyle Williams even. Craig Woodson. There's a reason they went with these guys, and their character mattered to them.
I'd rather go rookies drafted or undrafted rookies. Blackmon sucks.
Lan Larson?
No.
Running back out of UC Davis?
No.
The Christian McCaffrey of the FCS?
No, he's not.
State champion steer wrestler?
There is one Christian McCaffrey.
He's going to end up being a special. And then again, so that's why I do like to bring up 31% of the roster, where the holes that they have, hey, we need another running back as a depth practice squad. We need someone else on special teams. Because that's where they're looking too. Larson, I think, makes a team. His potential as a returner, as a gunner, and as a depth piece where you can line them up all over. Like I listed him special teams, and I put the athlete tag next to him. Because he could be a running back, he could be a slot, whatever.
Can move him around.
But that's a guy that makes sense. And the same thing with the G. Scott, the tight end out of Ohio State. Came in as a receiver, is bigger, moved inside a tight end. Good straight line speed, smooth route runner, good hands, good athlete, explosive off the line of scrimmage. Framework there. You put him with a Hunter Henry and an Austin Hoop. He's a different style of usage, kind of a repetitive of a Jaheim Bell.
Sure.
But that's someone you line up in the slot, and it's just a short to downfield target, a bigger body that Drake May could be targeting. Better route runner.
Makes sense.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show, and enough with the free agent, undrafted free agent talk, I understand. You can catch new episodes of Foxborough Rush every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can catch all the latest news surrounding the Patriots as we work our way through the offseason. Also, go to Nesson's YouTube page, leave us a comment, leave a thumbs up. As you guys know, we always run through the mailbag. We always bring you guys into the show, and we love to ask you guys about what you think. Like one we got right here. We'll do it right after this ad break. Trav, we'll talk pressure in a second, but here's my guy, Jimmy Wong, 4337.
What up, Jimmy?
Travis, you were right about most kickers when you said that they don't throw and they don't tackle. However, Adam Vinatieri threw a touchdown pass to Troy Brown. Then he chased down Herschel Walker and tackled him.
There you go.
Adam Vinatieri was also the reason they won their first three Super Bowls.
Adam Vinatieri's the GOAT.
Kickers matter.
Me. Don't at me, Ravens fans. You got enough problems with your kicker. Give us Vinatieri.
All right. I just like that one. Shout
He's
out
a
our
GOAT.
guy.
He's a GOAT.
Jimmy Wong.
To your point, you're right. He threw a touchdown. He's an athlete. That's one.
He's also the most clutch kicker in the history of the NFL.
He is literally the GOAT. And by the way, I don't want to make this a thing between me and kickers, because if a kicker runs up on me outside.
You kind of did, but you did.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you.
You did.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah?
I've covered this game a long time.
Yeah.
If a linebacker runs up on me because of something I said, I may backtrack. If a kicker runs up on me because I said you're not a real football player, I want the smoke. I'm not even tripping. Like, bring it. What you want to do? You want to have a discussion, or you want to get into a kicking contest? What do you want? Because I told no lies. I never said you weren't important. I never said you can't win or lose a game for me. I never said take kicking out of the game. I respect what you do, but you're not a real football player. That's all I said. You are a kicker. You kick. That's what you do.
Peace, love, Travis Thomas. All right, let's talk pressure. We're talking kickers. You got to talk pressure now.
All right.
Who do we see being under the most pressure in 2025 to succeed? And it has to start with Drake May.
No, it doesn't have to.
Yes. Every conversation with the Patriots' success starts and ends with Drake May.
Is he under more pressure than Mike Vrabel?
Yes.
I don't know if I agree.
He's got the offensive coordinator now.
I don't know if I agree.
Doesn't have the built-up offensive line, though.
He's in his second year, though. He's got a built-in. I don't want to use the word excuse because it sounds like I'm hating on Drake May.
He's got a longer leash.
Who?
I think Mike Vrabel has a longer leash.
Oh, you think Vrabel
too.
has a long? Okay, that's where. There it is. We found it. I disagree. Look, bro. All right, let me give my take.
Go ahead.
And then you balance it out. I don't think there's ever a world now, present day NFL, where a coach has a longer leash than the quarterback. I actually think the opposite of you. I think, and I'm not saying this is going to happen. We're just bantering. If anything, I'm trying to force a debate with you here. But I see a world in which year two of Drake May, expectations are there. To your point, pressure's there.
Yeah.
And let's just, for the sake of this combo, say he regresses.
Whoa.
It didn't work with McDaniels. It was clunky with Stephon Diggs. It couldn't get the running game going. Defense was solid, but the offense sort of stagnated, and Drake May regressed a bit.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think the blame will be on Drake May's feet right away. Maybe over time it could be.
Yeah.
It could shift. I think immediately it goes to McDaniels, Vrabel, what's going on, and that falls on Vrabel as the top guy.
Yeah.
Not saying Vrabel's going to get run out of town or anything stupid, but I think people could say, well, now all of a sudden you start hearing, well, at the end in Tennessee it wasn't great. Well, yeah. I just wonder if Vrabel, I don't think pressure necessarily is on either, like as in you're going to lose your job. No one's going to say Drake May in year 3 shouldn't be the starter.
Yeah.
No one's going to say fire Vrabel after 1. But I think, especially in this town, I think it could turn on Vrabel faster than Drake May. We've seen in this league, coaches get fired. Mm-hmm. You keep the quarterback, even if they're playing like trash, and you bring in a new coach to resurrect the quarterback. That happens all the. That's why I said present day.
Okay.
So I actually think Mike Vrabel is under more pressure than Drake May to at least establish a culture and get more wins than 3 or 4.
they got to show vast improvement too.
Who's they? The team.
The Patriots.
Yeah.
And this is where I'll hear you out. I think it's a great case you make. Mike Vrabel didn't just come in as a head coach. He didn't just pick the coaching staff. He
Right.
picked the ingredients.
Right.
He's picked every player.
Right.
All the free agency has been Vrabel guys. The entire draft has been free agency guys. If the offensive line doesn't work and Will Campbell doesn't work out, Mike Vrabel drafted him.
Yes.
Morgan Moses doesn't make it through and they don't have a viable option as a right tackle. Mike Vrabel decided to bring in Morgan Moses. Obviously, the free agency is tough. But Carlton Davis, if he doesn't stay healthy and is consistent and a good player,
Good point,
that's Vrabel
man.
and Terrell Williams.
That's a great point.
Robert Spillane, same thing. That's Mike Vrabel. These draft picks, Kyle Williams, that's Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to fall on.
Yeah.
He's on more pressure right now, Vrabel, for sure. Look
You
at
think
this.
so? You do think Vrabel?
Right now,
I also think.
when you think of everything,
Yeah. It's all
they're-
encompassing.
And they're both under pressure. We are doing who's under the most pressure. They're both under it.
They're both. Everyone's under pressure, but I think I think 1 and 2 or 1A, 1B, if you want to go there, George.
Yeah.
I just think Vrabel's a guy. By the way, there is an elephant in the room here as it pertains to Mike Vrabel. He's a former Patriot, and he won. He's part of the dynasty. Like, that matters to this fan base,
Yes.
to us, in the media, or the loudmouths. Bro, you know the standard. You know where they need to get to.
Yeah.
You have to be the steward. You have to be the shepherd to get us there. So if this team regresses in any way or is stagnant and has the same record and it kind of looks the same, that's going to be a problem. That's not a Drake May problem, even if he plays like Shaq. It's going to come back to the coaching staff. I think Vrabel and his staff has more pressure than Drake.
Also, if Drake May doesn't play well, you have Josh McDaniels now. It's no more AVP. You
That's
have
right.
this receiving room. He's under more pressure now,
That's
too.
right.
There's pressure on all of them. I think it all starts and ends with Drake May, though, just because it comes with the quarterback position. But it also starts and ends with Mike Vrabel, too. Drake May has to do this. Mike Vrabel has to do this.
Yep.
Another one that's under pressure, I mean, simply put, and Mike Vrabel said it right up front before they even got to the draft, Will Campbell.
Yeah.
Can you work out at left tackle?
Right.
Point blank period. Can you be average? And if he can't work out at all, and then he gets kicked into left guard, and they don't have an answer at left tackle, well, what's wrong? Why
Right.
can't he do that?
Right.
That pressure is real. Now, he's played in pressure cookers at LSU. We're
Yeah.
number 7. Again, I'll say it time and time again. He was on top 25 ranked teams, protecting Jaden Daniels, protecting Garrett Nussmeier, now protecting Drake May. There's a lot of pressure around Will Campbell, though. Not just to pan out as a number 4 overall pick,
Yeah.
but to work out on the offensive line and especially at left tackle. Vrabel said a point blank period is Will Campbell. He said he is our left tackle right now. They're going into camp with him to be the starting left tackle. And again, that goes back on the pressure on Mike Vrabel. You decided to take a guy with less than measurables, a lot of heart, good athleticism. There's a lot of pressure on Will Campbell.
Okay, I'm keeping tally here. Let's see if we're in lockstep, because I agree with you. Will Campbell's under a tremendous amount of pressure, and it's almost I hate to make excuses for people, but I almost think it's unfair, some of the expectations being heaped on this guy, some of the pressure being heaped on him. Here's why. He's really more of a natural fit at guard. Everyone can admit that, okay? But you're taking him to put him in a position of need for you, making him play left tackle in the NFL, okay? We saw him do it in college, but this is a different level.
Different.
So, by the way, you look at past drafts. I mean, hell, just go one back. Joe Alt, who looks like the real deal, who's going to be at his position for 10-plus years, he went in the draft before you, around the same place, right? Selection. So now you have Will Campbell, who doesn't quite literally measure up to that physically, George, I'm saying. And you're going to put him in that position. It feels I'm not saying you're setting him up to fail, but you are putting a ton of pressure on that kid. A ton. So we have Vrabel and staff 1, Drake May 2 in terms of our pressure power rankings, we'll call them. Will Campbell 3. You with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the next two. This is what makes it interesting. Go with the young receivers.
The whole core. Oh, just the youngins?
I go mainly
Or the
on
receiving core?
I go mainly on Jalen Polk.
Oh, you're going
still
out.
are
You're calling out names.
You're
Just Jalen Polk?
You're a second-round pick. Javon Baker's a sixth-rounder. Keyshawn Boutte fell, and yeah, he was good, but the pressure to perform again, and if he doesn't, he'll get outplayed by Mac Hollins, Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams, Pop Douglas, guys that are just sheerly better than him. And he's already kind of on the outs and outs with the team, too. Jalen Polk's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You have that second round. You were also picked ahead of, or picked over more of, Ladd McConkey.
Right.
Because the Patriots could have gotten Ladd. They decided to move back, pass on him, and they end up with Jalen Polk.
Right.
That's the Patriots moving back and getting their guys, what they're saying, too. Yeah. Xavier Legette went right around the same range. Keon Coleman, Ladd McConkey, guys that were instant impact players. And Jalen Polk was such a disappointment. And he still would have his saying, too. I have the best hands in the league, all this. He would talk like a wide receiver. I like that confidence. Maybe a little arrogance there, but I like that confidence. He's under a lot of pressure. I don't see it with Javon Baker. It's just, if he doesn't work out, but maybe that's for you and I of, we just look at him and go, yeah, he's a good athlete, but he was a late draft pick for a reason.
Yeah, no, that's
so I wouldn't
fair.
be shocked if he doesn't pan out. Keyshawn Boutte, I just know he's not that great, but there's a pressure the fans going, he showed the flashes. He was a downfield guy. Why doesn't it work out now?
Let me weigh in on Polk.
Yeah.
Just to play devil's advocate, because we've been in lockstep, so I want to stay there. Can I push back with a Stephon Diggs? I mean, listen, you were paid like the number one, and you are the number one by default because of the lack of talent in the room. You're coming off an injury. You have a history of diva-like behavior.
Yeah.
Now you're older. You're more mature, we think. You're paid like the man. You're coming off an injury, and we're asking you to lead the troops. Feels like pressure to me. Is Stephon Diggs under more pressure than Jalen Polk in your mind? Because Polk didn't give you anything. So some of me's like, yeah, he didn't live up to expectations, which is what you really laid out. But also, he didn't give you Shaq. So it's like, what kind of pressure is there? You could just give me nothing again. And it's like, all right, well, that's par for the course. I just wonder I almost feel like Stephon Diggs is under more pressure. Is that fair, or am I overreaching?
He is. They gave him a lot of money up front.
More pressure?
He is. Stephon Diggs is under more pressure because that's a receiver they brought in to change the receiving room.
Right.
Mac Hollins is a wide receiver 4.
Yes.
They signed Stephon Diggs to a lot of money, and they're saying we believe in his knee and his ability and him as a leader.
Yes.
But Jalen Polk's under a lot of pressure. I would put Stephon Diggs, I guess, right below the Will Campbell, and I'm putting Jalen Polk right below him.
Okay.
You're a second round pick. Javon Baker was a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
But still, and he had just one catch.
All right.
But he also has that out of, that was a different draft, different regime.
Yeah.
Jalen Polk, nonetheless, was good in college, really good in college. Does not make sense what we saw as a rookie. Mm-hmm. Still think he has that. He's under pressure. Then what about this? What about Ramondre Stevenson?
Bro,
6 fumbles last season.
I might put him above.
He's got 2 years left of real money on his deal. Yeah. He got an extension. He's a good player. He's always shown the flashes, though.
Yeah, we might have to move him up on the list,
right? A lot of fumbles is bad.
A lot of fumbles. By the way, you want to talk about pressure?
Travion Henderson.
A lot of these cats that we've talked about don't have guys behind them, like waiting for their moment. Ramondre Stevenson does. Because Henderson is looking at this like, I could become the bell cow around here if I ball out and I protect the football and I don't put it on the grass. Ramondre's under a tremendous – and you said it. He's shown flashes, right, George? Well, now you don't have that. You don't have that luxury anymore. You can't show flashes anymore. You gotta show up, or else you may be riding the pine.
Can't put the ball on the floor.
That's pressure.
That is. And I think it's in the simplest thing, too. And Mike Vrabel's not the type of head coach that messes around and benches him for 3 plays and puts him in.
Hell no. You're done.
For a game longer.
You
done. Go to the bench. Exactly.
That's right.
And again, through free agency, maybe they sign some other running backs. And they're not like the money's there, but they have the cap space where they can eat that money as they build this culture out and build this roster out overall. I think he's under pressure. I like your call. I like your correction on me, but I go Mike Vrabel 1.
Yeah.
Drake May 2. I still go Will Campbell 3.
Me too.
You're the 4th overall pick.
I'm with you.
At 4,
Diggs or Ramondre?
I'll go Stephon Diggs at 4.
Agreed.
Again, big money. And like you're the upgrade of the wide receiving room because pretty much everything's the same. It's
All
him, Matt
eyes
Collins.
on you. Yep.
Kyle Williams is in there. Then I would go Ramondre
I go
Stevenson.
Ramondre over Polk. I agree.
Then I would go Jalen Polk.
Yep.
There's still a good amount of pressure under Kyle Williams too.
Yeah, but he's still, again, I always
Third
go to
round
like
pick.
Excuseville.
Yeah.
Like he's a rook, right?
Young, he has that space.
Right. Yeah, I like this list.
If we have Vrabel number 1, what's the like acceptable record for this team?
Where no one's questioning him at all?
How many wins?
What'd they win 4 last season?
Last 2 years.
I mean, if you get me to 7-10, I like the direction we're headed in. You give me a 5-win season, I'm not happy. You give me 6 wins, I could probably find a game here or there that to make sense of it. You get me to 7-10 or better, I'm feeling really good about the future and the present.
You get me 6 wins, but again, this team looks respectable.
Yes.
Because it was that bad. You're competing, maybe just moving by the margins.
Yeah.
There is that excuse of injuries.
You're in the
Offensive
same
line still
range.
matters.
6-7 wins, right?
6 wins.
Yeah.
But the team, the total, it could be 10 wins. If they're getting lucky and like winning on like kick sixes they're returning.
Sure.
And dumb flags. Like it has to look like good football. So to me, it's more the performance on the field. That's a defense showing up, being top 5, top 10.
Sure.
That's an offensive line that's tied together. And that's a quarterback taking a step forward, but also having support around him.
Yep.
To me, it's more the wins losses with Vrabel. It's actual improvement of the actual football product. He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. This is Foxborough Rush. Appreciate you guys making us a part of your day. We'll see you same time, same place next week. Have a good one, everyone.